Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you are doing well wherever you are. I am the ACCA Tutor, Mr. Jerry Mtumkulu, and I welcome you all to this second part of the lecture phase. Okay, remember our main topic, all right, in this series is actually on all right. Basically, we are talking about income tax uh, computation. Income tax computation. All right. But um, in the previous part, we laid out the foundation, or let me just say the basic information required in the computation of taxation related to the UK. But so far, we haven't covered on the aspect of who is going to be taxed. Okay, who is going to be taxed? All right, so we are going to talk about the residence status of an individual. All right, because there is what they call global income and sourced UK sourced income. So UK residents, people who qualify as UK residents for tax purposes, are taxed on global income. Global income simply means that even if you are not in the UK, but as long as you are a UK resident, you are going to be taxed. Okay, you need to remit something to the UK HMRC. All right, you are required to be taxed. You need to submit or to remit some taxes to Her Majesty Revenue and Customs. Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. You need to remit taxes. All right, whether you're in Australia or in the UK, I mean in the US or in Africa, the moment that you earn income, because you are a UK resident, you need to ensure that you remit the taxes to the HMRC. This could be, I mean, this situation could be mitigated if there are some double taxation agreements, okay, which means that maybe there could be some contract or agreements between the two countries where if you remit the taxes to that particular country where you be at, you then have to remit maybe the shortfall to the UK. All right, but other than such an arrangement, if you are working in a country without that double taxation agreement, then it means that you are going to remit in that country as well as in the UK. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Good. So, this is why the concept of residence is very vital. All right, so let's look in detail at the residence for the tax purposes. Okay, UK residents. What's happening? Okay. Now, I've already laid out or discussed that residence matters because we need to determine who should be taxed and how much are you going to be taxed. Right? So this is why we need to understand the residence of the individual. So UK residents are subject to income tax on their global income, and non-residents are taxed on the UK sourced income. UK sourced income is that income you earn from the UK, all right, or you earn just because you were in the UK, all right. So you're only going to be taxed on that particular income. Now, how do we determine residence of an individual? There is what is called the statutory residence test. All right. So In determining the residence of an individual, there is a three-part test. Okay, um, this is called the statutory residence test. All right, first of all, we have to determine if an individual is a non-UK resident. So we'll use what is called an automatic overseas test or automatic non-UK resident test. An individual is non-resident if they meet any of the following conditions. If they have spent fewer than 16 days in the UK, all right, if they have spent fewer than 16 days in the UK, all right, they can be, right, they can be considered non-UK residents, all right, or if they spent fewer than 46 days in the UK, if they had been non-resident in all of the previous 3 years, automatically they are also going to be considered non-UK. So if you meet any of these, you are going to be automatically considered non-UK residents. Okay, lastly, if an individual has worked full-time abroad with fewer than 91 days in the UK, in that situation, we are going to say you are not a UK resident. Don't worry, you understand it with an example. We're going to give an example so that you understand this concept. Then there is what is called the automatic UK resident test. This one gives us more confidence on whether to decide if an individual is actually a UK resident. So an individual is UK resident if they meet any of the following. The individual is in the UK for at least 183 days. All right, in the tax year. 183 days, normally the year has got 365 days, okay, 365 or so. So this one could be almost 50%. So if you spend 6 months or so in the UK, automatically you're going to be considered a UK resident. Okay? Almost half a year. The individual's only home is in the UK. So if you have got a UK home, all right, if your home is only in the UK, then automatically you are considered a UK resident unless other things have been proven. All right? Or the individual works full time in the UK. So automatically we are saying you are a UK resident. Please note that an individual is in the UK if the individual is in the UK at midnight. So we are counting the midnight days. Okay, so the number of nights you spent in the UK are the days we are talking about. Now, if neither automatic UK test nor automatic overseas test applies, an individual's UK tax residence is determined based on the sufficient ties test. This test evaluates the number of UK ties and the days spent in the UK in the tax year. What are UK ties? There are 5 types of ties which you need to understand. The first tie relates to family ties or the family tie. Here we are talking of spouse, civil partner, or minor children residing in the UK. So if you have a spouse in the UK or civil partner or minor children residing in the UK, then we can say you've got a UK tie. 2, accommodation tie. Accessible place to live in the UK for at least 91 days. Used for at least 1 day. Then we can safely say you have got an accommodation tie, a work tie. Working in the UK for at least 40 days in the tax year, then we can suspect that you have got some ties with the UK. 90-day tie. If you spend 90 plus days in the UK in either of the previous 2 tax years, then we can say you have got a 90-day tie with the UK. Excuse me. Number 5, country tie. That is for those individuals who are living the UK. All right, they've been previously UK residents, but they now have the intentions of leaving. So, more days spent in the UK than in any other single country. So, if you've got more days spent in the UK, although you're leaving, but usually you come to the UK, you do something and so forth for more days, then we can say you've got a country tie. All right, good. Now, the more ties a person has, the fewer days they can spend in the UK before becoming a tax resident. The number of days threshold varies for leavers, previous UK residents, and arrivals, new visitors. The following table applies. So this is the table you are likely to meet in the examination. All right, days spent in the UK on the first column, then previously resident leavers. These are the leavers. The leavers are individuals who are now living in the UK but previously have been residents. Then when you talk of arrivals, these actually new people. They are visitors, they are new individuals, coming into the UK. Right? So if you spend 0 to 15 days in the UK and you have been a previous resident, okay, you have been a previous resident but you are leaving the UK, all right, you are only spending 0 to 15 days, automatically you are a non-resident. Okay, automatically you are non-resident. But if you spend 0 to 15 days and you are a newcomer, all right, then automatically you are as well non-resident. Okay. Then if you spend 16 to 45 days in the UK, all right, and you are somebody who is living the UK, previously you have been a resident, but you have spent 16 to 45 days in the UK, all right, you are a resident if you have got 4 plus ties. Okay, if you have got greater than or equal to 4 ties, then you are a resident. All right, the ties we are talking about are these: either you've got a spouse in the UK, you've got accommodation tie, you've got a work tie, or a 90-day tie, or a country tie. Then you are going to be a UK resident if previously you've been a resident, all right, and you have spent 16 to 45 days in the UK, all right. But if you are a newcomer and you have spent 16 to 45 days in the UK, automatically you are non-resident. Okay, now if you spend 46 to 90 days in the UK and you have been a previous resident of the UK, but you're now leaving, then because your days are now 46 to 90, then you only need 3 ties. If you have got 3 plus ties, then you are a resident of the UK. All right, and if you have